Alright, hello and welcome back once again to Usme 7 World Cup 2026. We're back yet again. This is the final potential matchup right here. The second half of that, we got actually Peru versus Thailand coming out on top. Who's going to get to the top 6 to the finals level here? I'm Mipa and I'll be joining it with Sparky. How's it going?
It's going absolutely fantastic as always. Last spot up for grabs, like you said, final match of semifinals weekend. We've already had some electrifying matches so far, and I mean these two. I mean they've started to develop a bit of history against each other, if not against each other, just being in these positions where they're making these runs into top six over the last couple of years. And I'm not gonna lie, on paper, I'm not sure who actually comes out on top here.
It is there's some sort of debate whether or not Peru Peru and Thailand, they definitely did get their run for their money. I think in Peru's case they went to at least some sort of a fight between getting a 6-2 and 6-3 kind of result, and I think Thailand had that in the case. I think Thailand went to face against Canada, and I think Thailand won like 6-2 at some point. So there are definitely some weaknesses being exploited by between the two teams, and I think it may actually be one of those cases that I think it can go to a tiebreaker and by a long shot, I feel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. This one feels a little too close to call, and we already get the protects underway. EX2 gonna be the protect for Thailand. Peru gonna respond with Rice 4 to start this off.
Not the usual EX protect by Peru. I feel like Peru's protect has been very aggressive for the entire tournament. They have been protecting EX3 kind of all the way. Maybe in
Mhm.
some cases they're actually facing against much tougher opponents, and I think they would probably scale back to like protecting Rice in this game. But I think Rice 4 is a pretty smart protect. I feel like for Peru.
Yeah, it's one of those where in the past they've tended to protect the like most physically demanding picks in this pool, and maybe the Rice 4 switch up is a sense of wanting to ensure it doesn't get banned by Thailand potentially. So maybe just wanting to keep it on the table as an option. As we see the bans begin to come out, LN1 going to be removed by Peru here.
Uh, Actually, Thailand's ban would be kind of interesting to me because there are some. I think in the back of my mind, I think Heliosphere Alon from Rise 6 is interestingly enough might not be the smartest ban in the shelf. I feel like they could probably just go, yeah, like I think banning EX1 in this case would be much more clever because Peru has been the kind of wanting the team to be able to fight fire with fire, I feel.
Yeah, these feel like categorically correct, quote unquote. We'll see how it develops as the match goes on. If there's like any mid match like adjustments being made, but this feels like it's going to boil down to the like perennial like Rice versus LN matchup where Peru's gonna maybe want to exhaust maybe like Rice 5, Rice 6, fall back to Rice 4 if needed. Thailand's probably gonna stick with like EX2, any of the LNs, and then the hybrids become a bit of a consideration once that pool begins to get plucked apart. Interestingly enough, for teams that have been leaning to Rice, I have noticed that Hybrid 1 it has been like the uh, jump down pick whenever they need to go down into that pool. So I'm not sure what Peru's first pick is. Oh, no, it's Thailand's first pick. It's going to be Hybrid 1.
Oh, I mean that's kind of the one thing that you would say that this is the most at least toning at least like toning down the density, but even though that's not saying much because the hybrid
Right.
generic as the hybrid goes, this is the by far the most physical apart from maybe the faster side of the hybrids.
Yeah, this feels like, at least this weekend from what I've seen, this feels like the most testing the water type of a pick that teams have gone for, where it's like, we don't want to commit to the LNs, we don't want to commit to the Rice one way or the other. I've seen either factor of team try to go into this. So just wanted to see how Peru is handling the hybrids. Might give Thailand a bit of information as to where to go from here. So
Yeah, it leaves room for experimentation.
yeah. So a safe approach maybe for Thailand, not wanting to reveal too much too early. We're gonna see the teams line up here: Lost Cool and Peru for Thailand, Josia and Shiu for Peru. On the other side, gonna duke it out. A lot on the line for these two teams. A top 6 spot at stake here.
The going for this is interesting enough in Thailand's case, but we'll get to that once we get to like the at least the last quarter of the chart, which it really involves a lot of the like elongated LNs with core streaming in it.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this one develops, but so far everybody handling this introduction relatively well. The LNs start to spike every now and again before transitioning into these more rice-oriented sections. It'll be a nice blend in between true to form for hybrids. Peebo actually making a first miss. Shiu trading that one back. Gonna equal out the FCs 1-1, but Peru still holding on to the advantage here. 5,000 points to the good here as Peebo finds yet another drop.
Yeah, people kind of hitting late, releasing far too late. I feel like those two counters are gonna probably crap that up in terms of accuracy. So I think that at that point, there's a decent lead for Peru right now. Even Shiu is recovering very nicely after that.
Yeah, despite the miss, Shiu actually holding on to the highest accuracy in the lobby. Peebo not having the best of times recovering from those drops, down into that 98% range, the only player in that marker, and it's helping extend this Peruvian lead. Shiu finding a couple of drops on the transition into this TI, into the last third of the chart, but Peru, off the back of Josia, hanging on to an 18,000 point lead on this opening Thailand pick. Can they hang on here?
Yeah, Alan Porsche, and there you go, Josia, there's a first drop on the Peru side. There's no FCs left. People trading that out surprisingly, but even then, there's only one carry left, and that is on Thailand's favor, but it's not changing anywhere because Peru's lead is growing massively. People is having so much trouble regaining the footing on the court stream here.
Yeah, just not able to reestablish a bit of a foothold, and Peru's taking full advantage despite losing both FCs, despite the fact that Lost Cool is the only person with an FC in the lobby trying to cancel out Shiu's accuracy. It's not going to be enough here by the looks of it, as Peru looking poised to pick up this first break point in this match to make it 1-0. 52,000 points to margin of victory on that one.
Not really budging his accuracy. That is a very good FC from Lost School, but unfortunately he was taking way too many damage, and I think the late hits is going to cost the ratio quite a lot there. But there you go, Peru's picking straight out of the Protect here.
Yeah, this is one of those like opening breakpoints, wanting to immediately try to turn the screw on your opponent. And on something as I don't want to say it's difficult, because we've seen some pretty ridiculous scores on core jack picks, but this is such a volatile pick to go into immediately.
It is definitely it's just you're risking too much into like bad chaining because of core jacks, but I think at this level, at least in the later stages, 128 BPM is not really so much of a slow BPM anymore in terms of core jacks, because you can easily just bad chain on certain columns, because even though this chart doesn't really have that many anchors, they are just limited to 3-node jacks, if not that much of a long jack either.
Yeah, there's definitely breaking points in this chart, and I mean, for Peru, when you have players like Divisa that can come in on these types of charts, it's understandable why you'd want to keep it around. They are incredibly good at charts like this, so we'll see how Thailand responds. Lost Cool probably going to stay in for a majority of these charts, just seeing who's going to be their support on any given pick. But still, I say all these things, as I mentioned earlier, core jack, you either V1SS, close to a mil, double-digit 300 counts, or you do that and there's like 20 misses.
Yeah, you either get like a 990k low or tops, or you just get like 940, 930k. There's no in between. Other than that, if you're just clean missing. So
Yeah, it's so hard to be it's so hard to swing consistent scores as a team because it just feels like you blink and you start missing. So gonna be high tension. We're gonna see Natsurio check in for Thailand to back up Law School here, and it looks like
it seems like there's a okay there you go.
Cool.
I thought of the. Well, at least Natsurio coming in for Thailand. I think there's no surprise here, knowing Natsurio has been the kind of like the second rice player for Thailand.
Mhm.
Although I mean, I have some mixed feelings about the chart itself because I think Lost will be playing every single chart, knowing that they're just pretty much the carry for Thailand. But we'll see how it actually translates to this because Korjak is a niche skill set in of its own.
Yeah, there's specialists all over the place. Natsurio actually gonna be picking up the first drop, a couple of 200s as well. Gonna drop that down into that mid 98% range, and with a chart as sharpshootable as this one, it already accounts for about 12,000 points in favor of the Peruvians.
Yeah. Just under 99 for Natsurio is not really helping things a lot in terms of score difference. But Divisa actually trading that out, but that is just super clean. Even all things considered, it's still just about a 10k lead.
Yeah, it's devolving into a bit of a cross-map battle. Shiyu and Law School holding on to the two FCs for their respective countries, separated only by about a 1/10% right now. It's really the difference between Natsurio and Divisa bolstering this lead for the Peruvians.
Yeah.
As Natsurio finds yet another drop, and that's gonna increase this lead now 20,000 points for Peru on their Protect.
Yeah, the ascending and descending Korjak is really not looking very good. Natsurio, but she was actually taking a miss, but other than that, it's still just about the same lead as before. Natsurio is having a lot of trouble in keeping up with Korjaks.
Yeah, as you mentioned, there aren't that many long anchors in this chart, but it seems that in this section in particular, they start to become very readily apparent, and they're catching out Natsurio. Law School falls as well. That's all the FC's gone in this lobby, and Peru just making off like bandits right now. A quarter of the map left to go. 50,000 points now the lead, similar to what we saw in Hybrid 1.
At this point, they're just gonna have to making sure that their rainbows are intact, even though their combos are still also intact. It's just all the lead is just pretty much very decisive, and this is one of the most decisive lead that we've just seen all throughout the entire weekend, apart from maybe some of the incredible scores all around, really.
Yeah, last couple of chords begin to rain down, and Peru gonna successfully capitalize on that opening break point to make it 2-0.
71 300s. That is something else.
All right. Okay.
You have more misses than 200s. Excuse me. Wait, what? Let's go.
Yeah. No. This is about correct in regards to a spread of Korjak scores. This is the full gamut. I mentioned earlier you're either V1SS with a couple misses. Yeah.
Well, to their credit, they still got just about 990k, which is on point. Unfortunately, the miss ruined it. It's not 997 anymore, but yeah, Law School. Actually, Thailand is opting for another hybrid pick.
Huh. We get the original here. Hybrid 2. I'm not 100% sold on this one. I would have liked to have seen them pivot into one of the LN picks, but stylistically this does contrast to Hybrid 1, so I mean, while it is different, I think it still extends too much of an olive branch to Peru to try and snipe this away from them, similar to how they did on Hybrid 1. And considering how Hybrid 1 went, I would have thought they would have shied away from it. But, I mean, they know something we don't, so...
I would have pivoted to EX2, really, because we haven't seen as much of an LN action going and the hybrid
Yeah.
one, apart from maybe the core stream. But then EX2 is another curveball to be looking out for. So and Thailand protected it. So I have no idea from where this is actually gonna go.
Yeah, this is maybe they're. I mean, trying to collect my thoughts here. Because it is a first to six. Because it is a first to six, you do have a tiny bit more wiggle room on these opening picks, but the potential to go 2 breakpoints down to start a match, knowing that Peru have a really good Rice-oriented roster with as many Rice-oriented picks as there are still open, it's gonna take some convincing. I'm willing to be convinced, and Thailand definitely have it within themselves to swing a good team score on this. They just need to keep it clean for the entirety of the run.
Well, it looks like it's momentarily though. I think Yoshi's actually kind of happy at 99, but still holding the full combo, which is fine. But at the same time, there's actually Natsuria there with the FC gone, so there's solidly enough, not that much of a lead to go from here.
Yeah, it's again cross-map battle beginning to develop. Shiyu and Law School kind of canceling each other out right now through this opening quarter of the map. The battle really between Josiah and Natsurio. And with Natsurio carrying that miss, about to cross that 400 combo cap, gonna start making a bit of a recovery run. They're not too far behind in terms of accuracy, so for every 10th that they gain and any 10th that Josiah or Shiyu loses, but another miss gonna come through, gonna put a damper on that effort, and Peru begins to double that advantage. 8,000 points now as we get into this Ki section.
Yeah, more of these sweep-ish faster court, well, not faster court sweep, it's just speed section, but shows trading that with Natsuria surprising, but Natsuria is already just down to under 99, or 98.6 really. So nothing much to be gained from that. Even though Josiah also trading the West out, so it kind of cancels out the lead, but not by very much at all.
Yeah, it's the fact that Law School is holding on to the FC in the lobby that's really preventing Peru from skyrocketing this lead, but at the same time, the fact that Natsurio is lagging a little bit behind the pace right now in the lobby is helping whenever they do find a drop to recover that lead for Peru. It's 12,000 the last third, a massive drop.
Massive, the piano offset chord, and Natsurio kind of missed out a little bit, so there's about 15k lead for Peru now.
A bit of a hiccup from Shiyu on the transition into this calmer section. 12,000 points the advantage for them with a quarter of the map left to go. Anything can still happen. We've seen leads like this evaporate this weekend already. It is not safe by any stretch of the imagination, but with the way Peru has been playing so far, so long as they can keep it together, it really is their map to lose at this point.
Oh, Natsurio, that's a massive chain of misses there. Not really looking so hot in this faster stuff. Actually going forward now. Just about 30,000 point of a lead.
Yeah, it just takes one bad section to really spiral things out of control. Law School losing the FC, a bit of a cherry on top that you don't want to eat here for Thailand. And Peru taking full advantage, one trade back, but there's already been too much given over. And Peru going into this final 8, 30,000 points of a cushion. Shiyu, the only player with any semblance of combo to work with, gonna make it 2 breakpoints to start this match off, and it is 3-0 to open it up.
Still very, very massive a scoreline here, just about 3-0. But then again, it is just about what you would expect, I feel like. I think Thailand would not have to pick any of their, well, the last of the hybrids, rather. Or rather, if you can count EX3 for that matter.
Yeah, some considerations going to need to be made here. I mean, thankfully, they will have the second ban phase to kind of thin out the pool a little bit more. But
School, kind of.
I mean, the singular miss MVPing the lobby, it's kind of like, what do I have to do here, guys? Kind of a moment, but I mean, it is a team game at the end of the day, and right now Peru just having the bit more balanced team score, seeing them through, and I mean, Rice 4 worked out in their favor, EX1's gone. I think you touched on it earlier on. Rice 5, Rice 6 are good considerations.
Rice 6, there you go. Yes. Okay, Alon is the pick now.
Yeah, not surprising in any stretch of the imagination. You leave both the tech picks up, and with Peru being as inclined towards physical charts, I don't see a better pick than Rice 6 in that regard. So,
Oh boy, I'm actually like kind of sweating bullets knowing that this pick is actually being played. Although there have been several cases, I think matchups, Alon has been picked kind of like once or twice, but it has never been like so frustrating when you can't when you either you can't hit it or you just can't.
yeah, very, very much the case here, especially as we trend towards these later map pools where it's either you can do it or you can't. And with these tech picks, it definitely feels like you're just punching air sometimes.
It is kind of punching. I mean, it is. You're kind of hitting airs when you're at a later stages of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
So in what a metaphor that you would expect, I think even notes to dumbs is just very common in charting or charting in just very difficult charts like this. And hitting
Yeah.
air is just the best way to describe this. What kind of thing this is?
Yeah, like any little thing can and will be charted on something like this, and you have to expect literally everything. It's just polyrhythms and just awkward, abrasive patterns put to an extreme. Flams everywhere. It's gonna quickly spiral out of control here, and it's going to be up to Thailand to see if they can potentially grab an opening break or a break point back. Josiah actually going to find the first miss this time around on the chart, and it's going to give Thailand a pretty sizable advantage to work with. The largest ones that we've seen so far this match, 8,000 points right now.
Yeah, oh, there's a mess actually from the Surya, but actually accuracy tanking to just about Joshi's accuracy, so now leads cancels out, and there he goes, another miss from the Surya's coming back to Peru's side.
Yeah, what was an 8,000 point advantage turns it into an 8,000 point deficit through the opening third of the chart. A chain of misses from Natsurio. Lost Goal trying to keep things in check. Shiyu finds the drop for Peru. That's an opening for Thailand. Gets traded back by Natsurio, but that's fine in these regards. There's one person you don't want to miss on the side of Thailand if you want to try and capitalize on this advantage. But right now it is 12,000 points with half the map left to go.
Here comes the trails here. It is actually very, very difficult because I think hitting these trails in particular, I think there are two things that can happen if you're not being able to hit this like properly, and like one of them is either you're in remorse that you even can't hit this properly, or you're just in pain seeing these patterns.
Just happening on differing columns. You can't get used to where those patterns are starting, and they start so abruptly sometimes. If you follow the music, you might be able to have a bit of a handle, and everybody managing to make it through that section relatively unscathed. Shiyu only to find a drop on the transition out of it. Natsurio trades some of them back and to help restore this lead that Peru has. Yep, 20,000 points here going into this outro.
Everybody made it unscathed for Lost School and Josiah. They're actually recovering quite nicely. Shiu's still taking some drops here and there, but then the serious accuracy is just tracking just about 98% right now.
Yeah, it's the fact that Peru have the ability to have a player find a couple of misses, the other person picks up the pieces, and that's just an answer that Thailand hasn't found yet as we quickly make it 4-0 here to start this match off. Thankfully for Thailand, it is going to be their pick, I believe, and we get into the second ban phase.
Lost School made it out alive with an FC, and it's just very impressive to see now. But unfortunately, the second player will have to pick up their pace here. The score line is definitely not looking good for Thailand right now. They're 4 points down, so they're gonna have to respond with something even more with confidence.
Yeah, there's been situations like this already in this round. I think back to the US match versus Hong Kong yesterday, where Hong Kong was up 4-0 going into the second ban phase, and I mean, the US started slugging to try and get some of those points back, ended 6-4 in Hong Kong's favor. But I mean, from a 4-0 deficit to even get 4 points from that position is... You never want to count out teams in this round in particular. You never know what happens as we wait to see what the bans are going to be for the second round.
I would actually just imagine just betting another LN outright. LN2 would be decently well-placed ban for Peru,
Yeah.
knowing... I think LN4 could be also a consideration, but that's also not saying much because LN2 and LN4 just plays out fairly similar. There you go. Yeah, LN4 is the ban for Peru. Not actually LN2 being out in the open is kind of interesting to me though.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a pick your poison kind of situation. What style of LN do you want to try and cut your teeth on? And I guess Peru not wanting to go for the styling of LN4, maybe just opting for their chances on LN2. And Thailand, yeah, unsurprising. Rise 5, they leaving two tech picks up.
Take that out.
Take the other one out.
Take that one out of the equation. So the only rice picks are just the conventional ones, like core stream, all core stream, or just the speed. Either the two. And there you go. Oh my god. Okay, protect being picked by Thailand. This is EX2. This is pretty. This is what you would really need to do.
Yeah, this feels like break in case of emergency kind of glass situation where you need to find something to latch onto, and what better way to do it than with the more LN leaning EX pick. This is a mishmash culmination of everything that side of the pool has to offer. So if they are here to play on the LNs, this is a good opening pick to really just kind of throw the gauntlet down. If Peru can match them on this, then I really do feel like the avenues start to get much narrower for Thailand moving forward.
I mean, this is like when you say like a mismatch kind of situation. This is just about like LN4, and Peru banned LN4 for that reason. I wouldn't really like the outcome of this in any way, but it's really just a battle of survival at the last turn, really.
Yeah, if you're Peru, it's probably house money here that you're playing with on this pick. It's like, it's Thailand's protect. If you don't get it, alright, so be it. They protected it for a reason. If you do get it, though, then I imagine the confidence just skyrockets going forward here.
Yeah, actually, Divisa's staying in for this. I mean, kinda expected to be the case, but it's either Yoshi or Divisa. But actually, Divisa's staying in for this one.
Yeah, they have a pretty well-balanced roster as we get this one underway, just being able to tag in and out on differing picks. And for Thailand, Pibu checking back in for them as we get this first major stream section down. Divi's gonna find the first drop. Pretty clean overall, only about 1,500 points, but a third drop now gonna rain down and exacerbate that lead. 6,000 points through the introduction here for Thailand to work with now.
Bit of a column block going on actually for Divisa, knowing that there are some repeated mistakes from there. There you go, and there's another one actually kind of decisive. Actually, Shio's actually and the second person to drop as well, so still MC's intact, but only one left for Thailand. He was actually taking repeated mistakes here.
Yeah, with that, some pretty heavy damage to their accuracy as well, falling behind Divisa in terms of pacing as Xiu tries to make that recovery run to try and match up to Lost Coal's accuracy. And right now, it really is Atlas holding the globe for Lost Coal right now, where the bulk of this 11,000 point lead falls on their shoulders to hang on to as best as they can.
This is in a nutshell Lost Coal's strengths, and they had it on the bag because the scoreline is still basically the same, but how different the score lead because of Lost Coal's accuracy.
Yeah, that being said, they
Not
find
anymore,
the drop.
not anymore.
The SD is good. There are trades now. The misses from people starting to stack up here. Divisa trading some of them back to help restore some of the lead that had been bled over, but it's still 8,000 points. A double miss, a full lobby miss this time around. The trades helping out Thailand here with a third of the map left to go. It's still 9,000 points. The lead is trying its best to stay in their favor. And more misses from the Peruvian side, gonna increase this lead 15,000 points now with a quarter of the map left to go.
Law School is at least surviving just a tiny bit more than everyone else. But then again, just about what you would expect from Law School in this case. The lead skyrockets in Thailand's favor at this point. And I think this is pretty much cut and dry, that this is very much in Thailand's favor right now.
Yeah, it's just chain misses from the Peruvians here on these harder sections. Things start to light it up and they start to gain back some of that combo, but the damage has been done in those harder sections. Lost School putting in the work, Peru lending their supporting score as best as they can, and it is a near 30,000 point response on EX2, just what they needed coming out of the second ban phase to kind of right the ship a little bit and get their first point on the board. It is now 4-1.
Very, very decided performance there by Law School. Just everyone else topped by just about 20,000 of the second highest. That is what they really needed there. But Peru's response being much faster core stream, I think this is what they would really scale it back down in terms of density.
Yeah, just wanting to push the pace here, not wanting to think about what happened on EX2. As I mentioned, it was house money for Peru. If they got it, cool. If they did it, oh well. They knew what they were going to go for next, and they wasted no time. Josia going to check back in, going to back up Shiu. Natsurio checking in for Thailand. And Peru on the cusp of potentially making this a match point situation. It is so tantalizingly close for them right now that another trip to the finals here.
Yeah, this is the lineup that you would normally expect out of Peru versus Thailand. So all Rice picks have been mostly the same, except for maybe the Visa, at least for Rice 4 in the Core Jack. But Core Jack, as far as thing goes, it's a niche skill set. This is just pretty much the main deal about the Core Stream. You got Core Stream everywhere this play. I think Josia has to play with every single thing in the pool.
Yeah, this is about as close to bread and butter as you can get. It's just who's more comfortable on the specific patterns. We see Shiu with the mirror wanting to play this on the offhand, maybe just a little bit more comfortable that way. But the fact that they've played literally every single map. Now, Surreal missing on air on the introduction. Early enough that it might be inconsequential, but you don't want to spot a miss to a team in the lead this early on. We'll have to see how that one develops as this map progresses.
I mean, it is, unfortunately, hitting on air can be a costly mistake, but at the same time, accuracy is, well, it shows actually trading that accuracy surprisingly there. So the lead is gonna go to Thailand just a tiny amount.
Yeah, Shiu finding a really clean drop, still in that 99.8 range, just a singular bad note spiking the lead back over to the Thai players at the moment. Josia trying to keep pace with Natsurio, has the miss in the back pocket to work with here, and Shiu trying to recover up against Law School, who is close to a 99.9% accuracy here.
That's about 4,000 points of lead, and Natsurio's hits are kind of dangerously late.
Yeah, as the BPM increases, just trying to strain to hang on as best as you can. Half the map still left to go here. Anything can still happen. This is the closest we have seen these two countries for a hot minute. They are duking it out back and forth. 2,000 points here.
There's still not a break yet. There's still just about this core stream, at least in the middle section. So accuracy is actually kind of, at least for Josia's side, it's actually kind of steadily dropping, and Natsurio still has so much higher accuracy than Josia here, so that's, interestingly enough, the lead's not going anywhere.
Yeah, despite the miss, Shiu actually catching up to Law School's accuracy. It's just the fact that Law School has the extra miss in the back pocket to work with. It's
Here comes the final stretch.
Here we go. Density begins to increase, and it is a gauntlet all the way to the finish. 2,000 points, 3,000 points in favor of Thailand for the moment, but Natsurio find the drop and it swings back on over to Peru. They don't trade the miss back just yet, but this is so volatile. A singular drop could swing it back in an instant. There's an eighth of the map left to go. It is 4,000 points in favor of the Peruvians here. Can they hang on?
Oh, that's a costly mistake from Natsurio there at the last core stream. And that's a point for Peru. Match point at that. 5-1.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Natsurio, unfortunately, getting the last drop, not traded back that time around. I mean, it's those little moments. It's those little moments in maps like this. It was their best opportunity. They looked so good, on pace to take the first breakpoint they needed back, but not able to close it out there.
Yoshia escaped unscathed with the FC as well, with 350s there. Might have been so dangerous there at the very end.
Yeah, that is playing with fire there. Ooh, all right.
Okay. I don't know what to expect here. All right, we're going EX mode here for Thailand. Looks like
EX3 going to be the pick. Cold Fusion. I mean, they looked really good on EX2. This one?
Well,
you make it more of a hybrid.
EX2, but then again, like, rice density?
Yeah, it's the rice segments of this chart that give me pause ever so slightly. They should be able to swing the heavy LN portions of this map, but when it blends back into the very tricky rice sections, that's where I feel Thailand needs to basically hang on for dear life. Peru, opposite situation, where they just need to hang on as best as they can during the harder LN sections and try to pick their moments on the rice to try and claw back a lead or try and hang on to one if they have it.
There are, for at least in my eyes, there's like one section that is impossible to actually combo through, and I think I'm worried that both teams are not being able to combo through that. There's like one LN wall, not the ending LN wall, but there's also that one just very, very funky LN release type of wall.
Yeah, you'll need to call it out once it happens, because that'll be an interesting moment in this map. Tournament life on the line for Thailand. Peru checking back in for them to try to keep this match going. Josiah and Shiu standing firm on the opposite side to try and punch their ticket into the finals. They are on match point. Worst case scenario, they go to tiebreaker, but they would need to capitulate a massive lead from this position for that to happen. Peru gonna find the first miss, do the introduction, first couple of misses. It's still early enough. This is a 4-minute map. Room for recovery is possible, but you don't want to mess it up early. Law School
there you
falls
go,
as
Law
well.
School as well. No, there's no FCs on Thailand's side. It's all just on Peru's side right now. But even though accuracy is still just about as high as it can actually possible to ever be. Joshi has the first miss on the Peru side. There's only shows left. So there's just about a solid lead. There goes no FCs up until the first quarter.
Yeah, but it's just the infrequent drops from the Thai players right now are what are being their undoing. Some of them are starting to get traded back. Josiah having a bit of a time on the right section, actually. Not the section I thought that they would be struggling with, but they're still managing to hang on to this 11,000 point lead. One of those misses does get traded back. Peru missing on the transition into the LNs before reestablishing themselves a little bit, but it's 17,000 points for Peru to work with.
I think this is what you would normally expect to see a carry. That I think Law School is gonna have it on the back and against Shu nonetheless. But Peru is taking so many damage as well, just to drop just about a low 98 mark. So not that much room to go off with.
Yeah, it's been the clash between these two players. Shiu and Law School have been duking it out against each other. Law School has had the MVP performances, but just not the supporting score to see them over the top. Shiu is the first to blink.
All down.
In that regard, some of the misses do get traded back.
Oh no!
Reset on Thailand.
everyone except for Peru actually managed to combo that one section that I was talked about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the difference. The fact that they're able to hang on, the fact that Thailand is having to recover back to that 400 combo cap on this calm section. Josia does find a miss. It becomes a bit of an inverse section that they'll need to work with. So it's going to be a while before they begin to contribute fully to the team score. Xiu falls on the transition out of it though, so nobody on the side of Peru has any major combo to work with. Both players for Thailand have managed to cross that 400 combo cap, going to be able to start making some inroads in this lead, but the core stream density begins to increase here in this section.
Again, more of these LNs now. It's just on Tom's favor at this point, and they're gonna have to hold it as best as they can, knowing Josia's actually the inability to get through this LN combo is not really working well in favor of them. Leads cut down a little bit there to Thailand's favor, just about at least still 20,000 point lead, but there's still more to go.
Peru just needs to hang on. 23,000 points to margin for them. They've given up 10,000 already. It was 30,000 earlier. People starting to find the drops on the transition into the rise. Xiu trades one of them back. It is a bit of a tug of war here, but it's still firmly in Peru's favor. 25,000 points holding firm. A full combo reset on their side. Going to drop it down to 20,000. Oh, but there's not enough time for Thailand to try and do anything there. The map is over. The match is over. Peru punch their ticket into the top 6, make it to finals by a score of 6-1.
Despite low school performance at the end there, they managed to actually still get an MVP out of everything there. Very, very well deserved victory for Peru, but again, this is Thailand's top 8 finish here, and unfortunately being eliminated out of the tournament. So get their 07s in there, because Thailand is really well deserved it to this point.
Yeah, definitely. Commiserations to them. Hard fought to make it this far. Unfortunately falling just short of that top 6. But I mean, what can we say about Peru? Top 6 secured, earned the seeding. you would be able to argue.
This is another top 6 spot, isn't it? I think last year Peru got top 6 as well, so maybe they got the same placement, if not better, if they manage it out to get to a top 4 and maybe even the finals. But that is a very well deserved congratulations there for Peru, actually managing out of the semis to get into the finals. And that is the last matchup for the weekend for the semifinals.
Yep.
All that's left is just the finals map pool showcase that I'm excited to see how it actually turns out for the top 6 having to struggle on the finals map pool, so maybe this is not the worst that we've seen.
Oh, absolutely not. I think it's only going to get tougher from here, but I mean, if there's any teams that can do it, it is the 6 that are remaining. They all have such heavy hitters that are eager, itching to prove that they deserve a spot in that grand finals. So outside of that, I think you said it best. The showcase is coming up soon, but there is one order of business that we need to take care of here. I have a hankering for something to I don't know, show my support here. Like, Peru has been a dark horse in the last couple of years, has been really showing out. There are other countries that have a really good shot of winning this World Cup. There are teams that have been eliminated that I would have loved to have thrown my support behind. Mifa, is there anything I can do to show my support for those teams?
Yeah, I mean, you're fortunate enough to ask this because I hit my head on the door at least on the other day, but I still managed to remember that OS banners are live in the OS store right now. So you can purchase OS banners right now in the OS store right now. You can check out the beautiful artwork on the banners that you've seen on the OS store there. There are the top 32 teams that are present in there. You can even purchase multiples of them if you're even your dark horse team that you would say that you can possibly purchase quite a lot, at least maybe even gifting some of them as well if you would like to show the support for the teams as well. And as a plus point, if your winning team actually gets to win on the 7K World Cup 2026, you get to keep that winning banner for at least a much longer time. So you get some bragging rights out of that. So go check out the OS store right now and purchase one.
Absolutely, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And until then, we got the showcase coming up soon. Definitely keep an eye out for that. Until then, we'll be signing off and catch you guys later.
Yeah, see you on the showcase and take care.